Hello and thanks for watching. In this video, you will learn about how energy flows through the biosphere. Before we talk about how energy flows through the biosphere, we should talk about what the biosphere is first. Remember that the prefix bio means life. A sphere is something that is kind of shaped like a ball. In this case, we're talking about Earth and a specific location on it. If we put those two terms together, we can understand that the biosphere is the sum of all living things on Earth, and including the specific parts of Earth where living things are. Living things are all over the land and the waters of Earth. Next, we should also go over what energy is. Energy is the ability to do work, or the ability to cause change. It is essentially the payment for getting stuff done. If you want to do something, it's going to require energy. All living things need energy to live. Our cells need to be able to do lots of jobs to help our tissues do jobs, to help our organs, and our organ systems do their jobs. So we need lots of energy. Where does our energy come from? Food, of course. The energy that living things need comes from food. We, as humans, eat food, and then that food is broken down in our digestive system to then flow through our blood to cells. The cells take in tiny food molecules, and it goes into the mitochondria. The mitochondria are the powerhouses of the cells, meaning that they take in food and break the molecules apart to release energy. That energy is used to power all cells. So there is lots of energy on Earth stored in various places, but what is the source of all that energy? Where did it come from? It comes from the sun, which is a giant burning ball of gas that releases a ton of energy in the form of heat, light, and ultraviolet rays of radiation. That energy heads out into all directions of space, and some of it lands on Earth. The sun is where all of our energy comes from, and without it, we couldn't do anything. Earth's energy all comes from an outside source. We can't make energy here. We can transform energy from various types into other types, but we need the constant energy coming from the sun. Let me demonstrate. Here is a simple food chain with grass, a rabbit, a fox, and a mushroom. Everything always starts. The sun is not a living thing, so technically the sun never belongs on food chains, but since we're talking about the flow of energy, it's essential that we include it, since the sun is the source of all of Earth's energy. The sun's energy shines onto Earth, and producers, such as this grass, use the sunlight to make their food so they can live and grow. The energy from the sun has then flowed into the grass. Then the rabbit might eat the grass for its food. The energy stored in the grass has then flowed into the rabbit to give the rabbit energy. Then the fox might eat the rabbit for food and energy, so the energy from the rabbit has flowed into the fox. Then someday the fox will die, and it might be broken down by decomposers like this mushroom. The mushroom uses the dead fox for energy. The energy from the fox has flowed into the mushroom. It is also possible for the rabbit to die before it is eaten by anything, and same for the grass. So the mushroom could break down the rabbit or the grass to get its energy. Now the mushroom has energy. Does the energy from the mushroom have anywhere to go after that? No, not really. Some mushrooms may be eaten by other living things, but not always. Some mushrooms are poisonous and can't be eaten by anything. So the energy flow pretty much stops there. Or maybe someday it will die and another decomposer will break it down. Regardless, the energy pretty much stops with the decomposers, like mushrooms and bacteria and mold. This is the end of the flow of energy in this simple food chain. There is a start, the sun, and the end, the mushrooms, and all the other living things in between. But We also can't forget that energy has gotten lost along the way because all living things lose heat to the environment. Have you ever been in a crowded room and the temperature slowly got warmer and warmer and warmer with all those people in there? Then you have experienced firsthand how living things give off heat. When our bodies use food so we can breathe and move around and do all the things we do, a lot of heat is created in the process, and that heat is lost to the air around us. How can we describe the way that energy moves through Earth? Energy moving through Earth is actually most similar to a pyramid. This is an energy pyramid. At the bottom of the pyramid are the producers, which get energy from the sun to make their food and build themselves up. Above them are various levels of consumers. Primary consumers are herbivores that eat those plants, and secondary consumers and tertiary consumers are omnivores and carnivores. Apex predators are the biggest carnivores at the very top that have no predators of their own. Notice how as you go further up the pyramid, the sections get smaller and smaller? The primary producers at the bottom start with 100% of the energy that they get from the sun, and then it goes down to 10% of the primary consumers, and then 1%, then 1/10%, and 1/100%. That's because every organism uses most of the food it eats as energy to help it do things. Only a small amount is stored in their body to be passed on to the next thing that eats it. So we can see by the green arrows that most of the energy is lost as heat to the environment. Only about 10% is passed on to the next thing that eats it. The energy starts with the sun, passes up through the consumers, and also out into the environment as heat. And it ends with decomposers. Remember that decomposers eat dead organisms. So any of the organisms in the food chain could die at any point and then be broken down by decomposers. Decomposers will break their bodies down and then put vitamins and minerals back into the soil. We can call those nutrients. Those vitamins and minerals are important for plants and will be used to help them grow big and strong. So we can see this blue arrow goes from the decomposers to the primary producers, which shows the nutrients that go back into the soil for producers to use. But do not confuse this with energy or food. Vitamins and minerals are not food, and they do not contain any energy. Just like if you were to take a multivitamin pill, it would have lots of good things for your body, but it doesn't count as food, and you can't survive off of those. They're just important things that help us grow big and strong. Remember that plants get their energy from the sun, so they can make food out of water and carbon dioxide. Their energy does not come from decomposers, because that isn't how plants get their energy. So, when we're talking about the flow of energy, remember that it starts with the sun and ends with decomposers, and also heat being lost to the environment, making it slightly warmer. The energy only flows in one direction. It is a line. It has a start, which is the sun, and an end, which is the decomposers. And it always flows from the sun through the food chain. It is not a cycle, because it doesn't go from the ending back to the beginning or the starting point. No energy goes back to the sun, nor does energy go back to producers. It is more of a straight line that flows in one direction.